What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about my first impressions on the Canon EOS R6. It's not a new camera, but it is a very good camera. Well, I guess it's kind of new. It's a few years old. It's not super old. It's not R3 new. Great features. I'll get into a lot of that later in the video. So mainly today is going to be my first impressions, what I use it for, why I got it, why I upgraded from what I changed from, and what I plan on doing now. So when we talk about all that stuff, I'm gonna go out to the garage to record everything. I got my whole little setup going now, and I'm pretty excited to start using that. But first, let's check some B-roll. Let's see what this camera can really do. Alright, but what y'all think of that? Were you expecting it to be better? Were you expecting it to be worse? Let me know down in the comments. Alright, but now I'm gonna go ahead and throw my jacket on. It's a little cooler outside, and we're gonna get out to the garage. Do any of y'all still wear windbreakers? I got this jacket like 2 weeks ago, and there's just something about them, you know. Anyways, to the garage. Alright, now we're in the garage. Sorry if it's a little echoey in here. It's a garage, so I don't really have any sound deadening stuff up to absorb all those vibrations and whatnot. So maybe a little echoey, but we can look past that. So first things first, the specs on this camera. This isn't going to be a detailed specs list and everything, but the basic stuff. 20 megapixels. It can shoot 4K in 60, 30, and 24. Shoot 120 and 1080, which is boom, that was a big upgrading point for me. That's one thing I was really looking for. The 1080 120, it can shoot 1080 in all of them, and yada yada yada. Obviously it is a Canon, so it does have a flip out screen. That was a big selling point for me. I know Sony's have just the little flip up screen, unless you're looking at like the A7 IV, which is coming out right now, or the A7S III and stuff like that, but those are really expensive. Well, I guess the A7 IV is comparable to this one price-wise, but I like Canon more, so that's the one I'm going with. Now, one cool thing about this camera that I like a lot is the customization that you can put into it, as far as every button on the back, every wheel, every dial, you can customize to what you want it to do. So for me, I like my shutter speed on the top wheel, right by the shutter button. I like my aperture on the thumb one, and I like my ISO on the wheel on the back. So that's how I have it set up. I've got the buttons set up to do different things how I want them, and that's just how I like it. And that's one big pro of a camera like this one. And then just a heads up, I am shooting with the R6 right now. I was gonna hold it up here and shoot with the M50 just so you could actually see it, but I figured it'd be a better idea to actually show you what the video quality looks like when you're actually shooting with it. I've got it at ISO 1600 right now in a garage. Got a light right above it, so it's not bad for how it is right now. Everything's lit up pretty well. On the side, it does have a mic jack. It also has a headphone jack from what I saw on there, so you can actually like listen to your audio whenever you're doing something. So that's pretty cool. I don't really use that, but it's a cool feature if you want it. Big thing for me, 2 card slots. Obviously, M50, this little thing does not have 2 card slots. It's not a pro camera. It's just a little hobbyist camera, and there's nothing wrong with that. you can take some phenomenal photographs with the M50. And if someone tells you otherwise, I will challenge that, because I've taken some amazing stuff with this. I absolutely love that camera, but it was time for me to go up. Like I was saying, those dual card slots are a big thing for me. I want to start getting into events and more paid work like that. So when I was looking at this camera and the EOS R, that was a big selling point for me, was the fact that it had 2 slots. I briefly entertained the R5, but that's out of my price range, so I'm not interested in that. Another big selling point for me on the R6 is that it has the RF mount, so that's Canon's newest mirrorless line of glass. If you haven't heard about that, you know, before you got EF lenses, like this EF 50mm right here. What is this, an old kit lens? EF 18 to 55, so really old lenses right there. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can still get good high quality EF glass, but the RF glass is just a little step above, and that's one thing that really sold me on it. So before I get into my first impressions, I'm gonna tell y'all what I had before. So first I had this camera. It is a Canon EOS 20D. This camera is about 20 years old. It does the job. It takes pictures. If you put a good lens on it, it can still get good pictures. But obviously there's no flip out screen because it's so old. It is a DSLR. I wanted mirrorless. It's a good camera. It taught me a lot of basic things, taught me how to take a picture pretty much the right way. So this is what I started on. Put that right there. When I upgraded, I went to a smaller camera. I went to the M50 Mark II. Now, like I was saying, this is a great camera. I've never had an issue with this camera other than the fact that it's really tiny, which is a good thing depending on what you're doing. I ordered a battery grip, what feels like, I don't know, a month ago now, and I'm still waiting on that to come in from a company called Custom Battery Grips, I believe. Makes it big. Then I was hoping it would give me like a good feel in my hand, like something like the 20D or the R6. Feels really good in your hand. It fills up your hand. You know, the M50, it is really small. It's something you can get used to, but it was a downside for me. I did like that it had the flip out screen and all that fancy stuff. ISO and low light performance is subpar, to say the least. I do a lot of nighttime street photography, so being able to handle low light is an absolute must for what I do. And this camera can do it if I have it on, you know, really long shutter speeds, but when I'm trying to capture something quick, it just can't really kick it. If you do get an M50, one thing I recommend you do is get EF to EFM adapter. Camera's kind of far away right now, so I can't hold it in front of it. I highly recommend getting one of these. I think I paid 30 bucks for it, something like that. And I can put all my EF glass on there. Makes a huge difference in what I'm actually trying to do. So these are the cameras I came from, and that'll give you a good idea on my first impressions. So when I first got the R6, I actually wasn't even gonna buy it. I was in the store and I was looking at it, and I was showing my wife. I was like, look at this thing. It sounds amazing. It can do this, it can do this, it can do this. Because I've seen, I don't even know how many YouTube videos on the R6. And she was like, well, we can get it right now, so why don't you get it? And I was like, oof. All right, and I have no willpower, so I bought it. First impressions on this camera is it is amazing. The feel of the camera in your hand, it fills up your whole hand. It's heavier. It's not super heavy, but it is a heavier camera. It just feels good. Hitting the shutter, moving the wheels and dials, pushing the buttons, even taking the lens on and off, the sound of the shutter, everything about it is just great to me. Now, I don't know how even higher end stuff is, but coming from an M50 and the 20D, it was a big difference for me, but it's one that I really enjoyed. Now this camera is pricey. Without the kit lens, which is the 24 to 105, it runs about $2,400, I think. And then with the kit lens, it's like $2,600. That's a hefty price tag, so you gotta know what you're getting into before you get into it. This isn't something like the M50 where like, it's expensive, but it's doable for most people in this hobby or profession, you know? So it is something to think about. That price is up there. All right, so my thoughts on the R6 so far after about a month of use. Like I said earlier, I've done an event, I've done a few personal shoots, I've done very light astro stuff. I love it. I love it a lot. I love the picture quality. I love the video quality. I really, really like the HD 120 frames per second. That was pretty cool to me. The M50 didn't have it. It does 120, but only in 720. So being able to have the little quality boost right there was definitely a big selling point. I like that a lot. Overall, I love the camera. I really do. I don't have anything bad to say about it. People talk about overheating. I haven't done video long enough to test that. I've shot when it's hot though, and I didn't experience anything, so I don't know. I know Canon put out a firmware update to fix that kind of stuff, so maybe mine's already good and it's not gonna overheat. Obviously, time will tell. Maybe next time when summer comes around, I'm not doing stuff. Maybe I'll experience something. I don't know. Fingers crossed I don't, but I like it. The RF glass you can buy for it. Now, it is expensive. RF glass is definitely expensive. It's pretty pricey, but you're getting a lot of quality for what you're buying, so you know you gotta make that trade-off somewhere. I like it. It's doing great for me. The autofocus on this camera also is phenomenal. Like, you're probably about 6-7 feet away from me, and it's following my eyes. It's got them on there. I can see it on the thing. Yeah, I got my recorder over here. It's working, so it's keeping me in focus. It's a big thing for me. It's another thing the M50 could do, but R6 just does it better. It's got the dual pixel 2. This has just dual pixel. Like I said, it's still really good, but just create your comforts. You know, it's just better. It is what it is. Now, big question, do I regret it? Would I recommend it to someone else? Would I buy it again? Do I regret this purchase? No, I do not. It was a big purchase. This camera is not cheap, like I was saying earlier, so just keep that in mind if this is something you're entertaining, but you're getting a lot for your money. So is it worth it to you? I don't know. I'm not you. I don't know your circumstances. It was worth it for me. The picture quality it puts out, the features you get, the video quality it puts out, I see $2,500 worth of stuff. I mean, this thing shoots 20 frames a second, completely silent, no noise at all. No one would ever know you're taking pictures. I think that's cool. You know, for me, that works out really good. So whether it's worth it or not, that's up to you. Like I said, for me, it's definitely worth it. Would I recommend it to someone else? Yes, I would. Now, I know the R5 does better video, but I do more photography with my camera. I do use it for video, obviously. I'm using it for video right now, but I do more still work, right? So the stills on it are phenomenal. You can crop in super deep. You can bring back a lot of shadows and highlights and stuff like that whenever the sunlight's all crazy and your lighting's weird. ISO performance, phenomenal. Everything about it I love. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to someone else. And what did I say first? Do I regret it? Would I recommend it? Would I buy it again? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt, I would buy it again. I love, like I've said it a million times now, I love this camera. I love how it feels. I love the just process of using it. Everything about it to me is great, and I don't regret a single thing about it. So I would 100% buy it again. Alright guys, and that is going to be it for this one. That's my little review, first impressions after about a month of use on the Canon EOS R6. If you got any questions, anything to say, drop down in the comment section below. If you're thinking about getting the R6, are there any other competitors that you're also cross-shopping? Are you looking at the R5, EOS R, maybe the A7 III, you know, stuff like that? You just hate Canon? Like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments below. If you liked what you saw today, go ahead and drop a like on this video. Helps out a lot. Subscribe to see more. Share the video with your friends. I am very attentive down in the comment section, so if you put something down there, you will get a response from me. And guys, until next time, I will catch you later.